Welcome, Poultry Nerds, to another episode of the Poultry Nerd Podcast.
Wow, that sounded great.
For today, we're going to interview each other.
Which, seems kind of weird, but there's lots of people that are saying stuff online that they don't know and essentially talking about us. Some good, some not. And so we decided that, well, hey, let's just interview each other and tell everybody who we are, what we do. Yeah.
So what prompted this was somebody told, I made a post on the farm page, and somebody said, hey, they were talking about that on the Poultry Nerds Podcast. You should listen to it. And I said, well, that was me. So we realized that people may not realize who we are. So,
But based on what you were doing on your farm, I thought it was a good idea. You should listen to the Poultry Nerds Podcast.
in my spare time, I'll do that. I was here when it was introduced and recorded. So, I don't have to listen to it again later.
I listen to it a few times every week. I have to get the editing down.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
See? Okay, so there you go. Let's talk about the behind the scenes. So I'm the one that comes up with the topics, the guests, the scheduling, the website.
Look, let me tell y'all. When we first started this, we knew we needed a website. I didn't have time to build a website. And Jennifer was like, I know what they look like. And she has come a long way. Like, she is really amazing at what she can do in Squarespace right now. You would be surprised. We have some stuff we're going to tell you about later that she's the one who figured out how to do all that coding.
Yes. So in today's episode, we are going to give you some, what is the word? Some extra information that only the listeners will be privy to.
Yeah, we'll tell them the T.
The what?
The kids, they call it the T.
The T? What does that stand for?
I mean, like TEA, like a glass of tea. But, we would call it details or gossip.
Okay, so there's the
that
difference.
Kind of stuff.
Carey has teenagers in the house and knows lingos, and I have grandkids. So, little differences there.
Yeah, I got a couple kids in my house.
Yeah. Well, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself then for our listeners? What you know?
My name's Carey. I guess I'm the tall nerd because it's a rooster. I don't know what the chick is. I'm one of the nerds.
Uh-huh.
I have a lot going on in life. I'm a foster parent. At this point, I want to say it's 38, 39 kids at the time of this recording that has crossed my doorstep. And now, let's see, one of the second kid that came to us moved out maybe 6 months ago. And we've been foster parents for 5 years now. So anything, and we foster anything from 0 to, I think the oldest one we had that finally aged out by her own decision was 20. In Alabama, you can stay until you're 21. So it does have some benefits.
These would be human kids that we're talking about.
Yes. I only have 2 goats. So but sometimes they could be more respectful and more entertaining.
Yes, that is a true statement. But as far as poultry is concerned, you have ShowPro.
Yes, ShowPro.
Yeah.
Company's called ShowPro Farm Supply. It started out because I wanted good quality feed for my birds. I have some really nice Rhode Island Reds, and I wanted show feed for them. I want to feed my birds the best. I don't go to Crystals every day, and I'm not knocking people that do, but I want my birds to have the best. And when I started learning about nutrition in that, it's kind of like I had a rabbit hole, and it's just, pew. And so I wanted I can't send everybody feed because shipping's expensive. And, when I first started making this, I was making it for me. I went to Jeff and I was like, hey, dude, I want you to make me some formulas. These are the things that I'm concerned with. And I don't want you to think about what it's going to cost. I want you to think about what's best for the bird. I have turkeys. I have large fowl. I have game fowl. I have quail. Now, I know that I can't feed all of them the same thing at the same time, but I would like to be at a happy medium on something at some point. That'd be kind of cool. And so that's where that came out, because I was mixing supplement and this and that, and I don't have extra time for that crap. So then people were like, well, we want your feed. Like, I'd love to send it to you, but freight's ridiculous. So I went back to Jeff and I was like, hey, I think I need a supplement because people are wanting this. And he was like, well, what do you want it to do? And I told him what I thought needed to be in it. He agreed. We worked that out. So the ShowPro Poultry Breeder Supplement was born. And when other people wanted to buy my feed and actually did, I needed something to call it because I had to put a feed tag on it. Because, they make you register all that crap. So, being original, I decided to call it ShowPro too.
Well, I am now a ShowPro fan, just so you know. He knows, but y'all know now. So I started out with Furtrail. So when he says Jeff, he's talking about Jeff Maddox at Furtrail.
Mm-hmm.
And now you guys have become big friends, work together a little bit.
Yep.
Yep. And I mean, I like Jeff. He's been on the show a few times. He's very helpful.
Yep. Smart guy.
So I think that I kind of met you guys after I started doing the feed trial a few years ago. And that's how we maybe came. I don't even really remember how we met.
So the way we met, and I've actually went back and tried to figure this out when we talked about it a while back. I was in a group that I don't even know if I'm still in it. I may be banned by now for it because I can be a little blunt. But I was in a group and I had gotten back into chickens after being out for a while. There's a whole story behind that, but I searched for the best Rhode Island Reds that I could find locally to me. And I was looking for information about the Rhode Island Reds. And you and I had messaged once or twice about some stuff, and you messaged me and was like, hey, you need to reach out to this guy. If it's a red, he knows about it.
Rip.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And like you and I started talking then, and I think that's when we really hit it off and became friends. When we found out that we weren't too far away from each other.
Yep. Well, we'll talk about me for a few minutes and then we're going to get to the big news.
Tell us what you do.
So Bryant's Roost is my farm. In case people don't know and they want to comment on Bryant's Roost for me to listen to the podcast to learn something.
Yeah.
which cracks me up. But hey, it's okay. It's social media. Not everybody's going to know everything.
But you could learn from the lady on the podcast. She is smart.
I'll reach out to her tomorrow and see what she knows.
Let me know how that conversation goes.
Well, it could be exciting depending on the day.
That's right.
But anyway,
what is Bryant's Roost? What is that?
Bryant's Roost. So when we found, so David and I are married, and when we moved out here to Bell Buckle, I'm in Tennessee. We found the property. It took us about, like maybe 8 months to find the property. We were shopping, and I just told him that, I said, we've come home to roost when we pulled up in the truck, and it just kind of stuck. And so that's how it got its name. So Bryant's Roost, because birds roost, ha 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 ha.
I mean, that makes sense. I like it.
So that's how it got its name. And then I just had turkeys and ducks and the Orpingtons at the time. And I was dabbling in Brahmas, actually. And a guy stopped by because I had put a sign out that I had chicks for sale. And he lived down the road, maybe about 5 or 6 minutes or so. And I wasn't home. So David talked to him because David's a talker and Ed was a talker. And what Ed wanted to know was, would I incubate some eggs for him? And so David's like, well, you'll have to talk to her when she gets home. And so I called him when I got home, and he said, I'll come back down there. Well, lo and behold, Ed was a traveler in the sense of he was always in his truck going somewhere, and brought me some quail eggs. And he said, what would you charge me to incubate these quail eggs?
So like he just shows up, a couple dozen quail eggs, and says, hey, do you incubate these?
Yes. And he said, what would you charge to incubate these quail eggs? And I was like, I don't even know. Maybe like keep some birds back from them. He said, sure, not a problem. Well, at the time, I just had these tabletop incubators. Nothing. I mean, I had a GQF, but I put them in the tabletops. Well, I didn't know. I mean, you have to understand, I was not on social media. I did not know what a Facebook group was. I did not know anything. I just put these eggs in the incubator, and he said, they'll come out in 17 days. I was like, okay. So I opened up the incubator because I heard them chirping, and dang it, if these little quail didn't pop out like popcorn and run across the table. And it was so stinking cute that I had to have quail right then. So I kept mine back. He took his. We became super, super good friends. He passed away about a year ago now, but he and I just two peas in a pod at that point. Well, he helped me raise the quail, showed me how to clean them. He was an older gentleman. Helped me clean them, taught me all about all kinds of different things. He's the one that got me in the pigs and the cows and all the good stuff. Well,
he was your enabler.
He was my enabler, but he had so much information. If you can find you an old farmer to give you guys information, you need to do it and just befriend them because they just want to share their stuff with you. Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, he helped me clean all the quail and everything. Well, he just had quail from the neighbor lady. I don't even know where he got them from. And those things were murderous little banshees out there. I was like, if I'm going to do this, we have to like try it differently. So we dispatched all of those quail, and I found a guy about an hour away that had the wild type. So I went over there and I bought 6.
That's Pharaohs for everybody.
He had standard Pharaohs, what I know now as standard Pharaohs. Well, I bought 6 dozen eggs off of him, and he got out of quail about a year ago, but he would come back periodically. He would come to visit me, and he'd be like, I just can't believe that these are the same birds. So I never bought any more birds. Those 6 dozen are the beginning of this whole empire. And inside of those eggs, as I messed with the genetics and understood the genetics, I found the Egyptian. And apparently now I understand that there was sparkly in them to boot. And I bred them up to be jumbo. I bred them to lay the larger eggs. And somewhere along the line, I found Facebook and figured out Facebook groups and all that good stuff. And Bryant's Roost is actually my second page. The first page was Jen's Critters, and I had a pretty good following. And then one day, Facebook said, I don't think I like you anymore. And they just deleted my page without warning.
That was nice.
I know. And we were actually on a road trip to Atlanta to pick up some cages. And when they deleted my page, I was so mad. We got stuck in traffic on 75.
That made it worse.
Yes, I was just so mad. And I created the new page, but I told David, I was like, if we're going to do this, then let's just do it, because I'm not going to be beholden to Zuckerberg about this stuff anymore. And then that's when the website was born at that point. So before that, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't even on social media, let alone designing websites. So the website tech side of it has all been, what, in the last 2 years or so, 3 years? I mean, I paid somebody to start the website.
Yeah, but like, I think you started doing it probably 2.5 years ago, something like that. You're like, I need to change. I'm like, well, and figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, if you don't know,
it was like unleashing a monster. Now you're just like, oh, I'll ask you, hey, in Squarespace, how do you? And you're like, oh, I'm like, hey, I haven't even logged in yet. Hang on.
I've even taught myself CSS code to customize the websites. Like, I've taken, just like everything, taken the 6 dozen eggs into this. Now I've taken the little website into what it is. So yeah, it's a whole thing. But in short, Bryant's Roost has the quail, still has the turkeys, but I had royal palms and now I have red bourbons. And I had Silver Appleyard ducks when we moved here, but now I have Welsh Harlequins. And let's see what else. Oh, the Buff Orpingtons. I got rid of the Brahmas, got rid of the Cochins. So we have Buff Orpingtons, and you got me into American Breasts, which I love. I wish they would stay in the fence like the Orpingtons. That kind of drives me batty.
No, those things. They're really good escape artists. They really like to forage.
So when Ed got sick, he had cancer. And when he got sick, he gave me his pigs, and they were guinea hogs. And I hated those pigs. But pigs are really useful, especially if you have quail.
Mm-hmm.
We also had a dry pond that we had built, and the wives' tale, or the old farmer way of doing it, was put pigs in it to wallow and make it hold water. Well, Ed gave me the pigs to wallow in the pond so it would hold water. And you've been here enough to know that it's gone from a dry dust bowl and now it's stocked with catfish. So that works. And then back to Ed, he had bottle fed a Holstein cow. And when he got sick, he was afraid, he didn't want her to go just to anybody. So he gave her to me. And so that's Mabel out there in the field. That's how I got Mabel.
Oh, okay.
She was a bottle fed baby, which is why she's a 1,500-pound cat that wants to sit in your lap. Yeah.
I mean, she is. She is friendly.
She is. She eats milk bones. And then
that's funny.
And then I have the goats, which I have generously shared with you.
Look, I love Billy and Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
They're funny. Mm-hmm. I got them this little play set, like kids play set. I found somebody had moved out of a rental and left it in the yard, and I was like, my goats like that. I bring it home. Tamara said, did you get that for the toddler? I was like, I mean, she can play with it too.
With the goats.
But the goats need something to do. She watches TV and stuff. So there's that. And now my one of my LGDs, Lucy, she's a Great Pyrenees. She will lay on top and like let her back feet hang down the slide and her front, like where the steps are. And sometimes you'll see one of the goats, or once I've seen both of them on her back looking over the top of the castle part. So, yeah.
Well, before the Roost, I had gone to college to be a veterinarian, and about between the bachelor's part, where you graduate, and the point where you're going to go to college and got accepted to the veterinary school and actually moved to the state where the veterinary school was, you have a heart to heart with yourself, and you realize people are really mean to their animals. And I had worked in a couple of clinics and realized I think I might spend more time in jail because people are mean to their animals. I don't know that this is a good life choice for myself.
Yeah,
So
that's why I don't work in the hospital anymore.
I opted not to go to veterinary school. So there's that. So I still have the Bachelor of Science in Animal Science. Grew up on a farm. So I've had animals more often than I haven't. So, are you ready to introduce?
Let's see if they're ready. I mean, this is something that, Jennifer and I both have been doing this for a really, really long time, especially if you put the numbers together. So we thought, mainly her, and I was like, I love that idea, that this should be a thing. So, Jennifer, drum a roll.
Drum roll. Okay. Can you do like sound effects on the podcast?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Drum on the desk.
Yeah.
Incubation Masterclass.com
is coming.
Well, by the time they hear this, it should be here. Hopefully.
Well, that is true.
So we've been working on this class. It's been in our heads for several months, but actually gathering the information, feeling confident and giving out the information, and then of course pulling it all together. We created 2 classes. The first one being released is for quail. Everything you need to know on how to hatch quail. Like all the way back at the beginning, before the egg was even thought of, all the way to any kind of problems you may have that you need to figure out and tweak your incubation skills.
I mean, we're going to tell you how the feed tag on the feed you feed your breeder birds affects what hatches out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to tell you that. We're going to tell you what to look for.
With low temperature, high temperature, low humidity, high humidity, egg selection. Like, it's a whole thing that I really studied hard on, and I'm going to include all of the research papers that I read to get all of this information. They'll be tagged in there, downloadable. And then right behind it is the chicken class, will be right behind it. I would think
there is a difference in the way you incubate those.
There's a little difference, yeah. So we're going to release both classes, but the quail class will be first on the Poultry Nerds website.
Yeah.
But you can get there directly, incubationmasterclass.com. And just for the listeners.
Yeah, don't tell nobody. They got to listen.
Yeah, tell them they have to listen to get the information and subscribe to the show. The introductory rate, lifetime access, and we'll put in new information as it becomes available if incubation ever changes. $17.
That's it.
That's it. All my hard work, $17.
So, worst case scenario, $17, you're going to get some cheat sheets. You're going to get some one pagers to help keep up and track what you're incubating. Nice looking little forms that you didn't have to create yourself.
I
Best
put so
case,
much energy in this.
look, best case, you're going to learn how to get a really good hatch rate out of that $35 incubator that you bought off Amazon.
Yes.
Because it is possible.
It is. I started with cheap incubators.
There's a technique to it, but I mean, I could do it.
So that's the next big ticket coming. When you hear this, it's available. And then right after that, we're working on the next project, Quail Mania 2.
Quail Mania, Dose.
Trace. No, just Dose. David's already talking about 3, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to finish 2 first.
But we've got this year, we started planning for Quail Mania 2 like 2 weeks after 1. We were making notes during 1, and we've got a lot. We've twice as many speakers.
Yes.
A lot more stuff to learn. It's going to be 2 days of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We've already got tons of commitments on giveaways.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the kicker. You got to be present to win.
Yes.
You don't say here, we're going to the next one.
So Quail Mania airs in February, but of course
That's right.
we have to pull all of this together before the holidays because all the breeders are just super busy after Christmas.
As they should be.
You guys can watch for free in February, or there will be an upgraded option where you will have access to it for a whole year, plus some extras.
Yeah, because lots of people are giving out handouts to go with their presentation.
Books,
coupon codes, all the goodies.
So some of the speakers that we have, Heather Levine from the Backyard Chicken Summit.
That I didn't realize was a thing as much before as I do now.
Mm-hmm.
But she's a really, I looked at her presentation. I got excited.
A lot of people talk about growing your own food for your animals, so she talks about that.
I was going to say, she does it.
Yeah, she does do it.
And she gives you she gets pretty in depth with it. So that made me actually want to start making all of my dogs' food instead of some of it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Jerry Landry.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I interviewed him for Quail Mania, and Carey got to edit what I recorded, but that was only half of what we talked about. Yes. He is so interesting. He was like one of the first people to import all the colors into the States. And he lives and breathes parakeets and button quail. Or is it budgies? Budgies and button quail.
Yeah, budgies.
Yeah.
Which I've never heard of a budgie.
I had budgies. I didn't like them. Now I have button quail. So he had, I think he said 117 aviaries, like a crazy amount of aviaries. Yes, crazy.
You put button quail in aviary?
I mean, oh yeah. A lot of
people I would be afraid I'd step on one because they're so small anyway.
Yeah, but I'm pretty knowledgeable, I would say, but nowhere near an expert on button quail. But man, he was talking and I was making notes, and just the little tweaks and tips that he gave while I was talking to him, I already have implemented them into my breeding program, and just it really kicked it into high gear quickly.
Look, anytime a nerd can talk to the nerd and take notes, that's a good day.
Yes. Oh, we stayed on the phone till almost 11 o'clock at night. I was like dying, but I didn't want it to, like, I need to write all this stuff down.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Dr. Morishita.
Yep.
We
Dr.
love her.
Morishita, she's on.
Yes.
She's talking about some pretty fun stuff.
Just any kind of problems you might have with your quail, but in the technical way, not just the put Epsom salts on it way.
Oh, Lord. Please
And
don't.
one more, we'll give away one more right now. One more speaker.
Brie Pats.
We can't have Quail Mania without Brie.
Look, her presentation on using statistics, I was editing that the other day and I was like, okay, I can see how that works, but you had to have studied it for a really long time to find that correlation.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take it because I see it work.
She's a serious nerd.
Yeah.
So she owns Poultry Pro, the new app for tracking your information.
Everything.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like this thing will even send you daily reminders to weigh your birds.
I know. I feel so bad when I get it and I'm like, oh, crap.
Like, I want to be like, how do you know I forgot to feed them already? The day's not over. But there's a notification for that. But it's a pretty awesome app.
We have a ton more speakers.
Yeah, that's not even half.
Yeah, but we don't want to give them all away yet.
It's
only.
Tune in later.
What is it? Is it going to be October? No.
It's September. We're late September right now.
Yeah, so we've still got a little bit of time getting everybody just coordinated and fixed up. We're going to have giveaways and sweepstakes in between each speaker. And I'm excited. We learned a lot the first year, and we have really stepped up.
You're not kidding.
Really stepped up our game for the second year.
Yeah. My anxiety was through the roof the first year because there were several pieces of technology that were supposed to work, and they were supposed to work a certain way, and I couldn't make them work that way. And that's really, I've been in IT for over 20 years now. It's supposed to work the way I tell it to work. Like, that's the whole point of programming. And it wasn't cooperating. And it made me mad.
So here's some behind the scenes information. So Quail Mania 1 was pretty well thought out, I thought. We got everybody pulled together. I mean, we'd never done it before, never done anything like it before, but we pulled it together and we did it. And we had my part of it was to get the speakers and all the videos together, and your part of it was figure out how to get it to the people. And here we are Friday night, like at 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
It's supposed to air Saturday morning, and Friday night at 10 o'clock, we're like on game plan C, the third try.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, let me kick this. Let me try it. It's late. Nobody get the notification. Maybe they're in bed. And it didn't work. Yeah. And I was like, you're supposed to.
But we did it. It worked. We got the information out there. It wasn't pretty, but we did it.
Kicked off on time.
But
we had quite a few people saying, hey, the video's not showing. The video's not showing. And we're like, it kicks off on Central Time. And then, boom, it kicked off on time. First time I saw that, it actually worked. I was like, yes.
But this time, we have it hosted on the website. Everything's together.
Oh, yeah.
Information, downloadables. We have a chat embedded so you guys can chit chat about the video while it's going on. Like, I'm excited. Like, I've put a lot of work into the planning this time. Now that I can like see how it all comes together, my brain works totally differently than most people, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, she's crazy. Just let her do her thing.
That's the best. Like, you just let her do it, and she needs you to do something, she'll let you know.
Yep.
Works out. Is that it? We got anything else we're going to share?
Well, how long are we going to leave the introductory rate of $17 on Incubation Masterclass? Not long.
Nah.
A few weeks.
That's the most. You know what? Y'all just need to hurry up and sign up because whenever Jennifer decides to cut it off, it's going to go up to the regular price.
Yep.
So get it as quick as you can.
Yep. And share all of this with your friend. And please subscribe to the podcast. And we'll see you next week, I guess.